It's a great day to be alive and an artist. My name is Matt with the Hat, and today in our Acting and Artist Way series, we are going to talk about yes and. So, what is yes and? In an actor's sense and in a life sense, it is the process of allowing creative flow in. Okay, and creative flow is a state that is so important. We start writing on a play, we start acting in a show, we start singing, we start doing all these different things. Creative flow is when it starts to, it's just singing out of us, and our focus is so strong. It's like when you see a basketball player and they're hitting free throw after free throw after free throw. You're seeing that amazing quarterback, and for some reason that quarterback just is in the zone and can't be stopped. This is free flow. This is flow, and this flow state is one of the most important things that we can be in. Now, for an actor, this flow state often comes from using a very important rule, and that is called yes and. So I'm going to explain it in an improvisation sense, and then we're going to expand it onto life here in just a second. So if I'm in an improvisation, one of the first rules is yes and, okay? And what's going to happen is we're doing an improvisation scene, and I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to talk in the style of like a very big, broad Robin Williams type thing, right? And let's say you're in a scene and your partner goes, "There's a giant wolf and it's about to eat you," right? And you say to your partner who has just made this big dramatic observation, "There's a big giant wolf and he's trying to eat you." You say, "No, there isn't." In that moment, you shut off the potential for that scene, right? You kill it, because instead of agreeing and going with what's happening, instead you block the flow. You become a dam for this creative storytelling that might have come through. Now, this person says something and says, "There's this giant monster. He's about to eat your children." And instead of that, you say, "Yes, and he's going for yours as well," right? That's yes and. It's agreeing with what the other person is saying and adding to it. That's what yes and is. And so what you're trying to do with that is you're trying to just allow, you're trying to let that flow happen, and whatever's thrown at you, like say we're in a more dramatic scene, right? And this person does it totally different, your scene partner, and they usually have cried in this particular scene, and today they're smiling. Now, a novice actor would go, "Hold on, cut, stop. You're doing it differently," right? But a more experienced actor is going to use that to their advantage, right? They are going to say, "Okay, they're trying something different. I'm in the moment, and I'm going to react off of this based off of what they're giving me in this moment, here, today, now." And what happens when that is electric, right? Instead of shutting it off because it's different, we allow it and we add to it. Okay, so you got your given circumstances, and in this scene, this person's usually cried. Well, but this is the first time it's ever been done, right? And so you are doing that scene, and now your character's starting to go, "Why are they laughing at this? This is not a funny matter," right? We are adding to it. We are creating with them. We are co-creators of the scene where our limits at this moment in this rehearsal or in the performance are the script and if you have set blocking. Okay? And so what you're looking for with a yes and attitude for acting, which is where we're starting for improvisation, is whatever you're given, you're going to take it and you're going to take it higher. All right. Now, when we go into life, right, there's that whole movie that Jim Carrey's in called Yes Man, right? It's all based on the yes principle. That when we start saying yes to life, big things start happening. So, for example, we're on this Artist Way journey. If for those of you who are watching the Artist Way classes, we're on this Artist Way journey, and all these wonderful things are starting to happen. We're starting to see these beautiful changes in our lives. We're starting to own what we want and what we don't want. We're starting to try things. We're dipping our toe into the water. And then perhaps something magical may happen, right? You may be working on something and someone says, hey, I've been wanting to write a script. And you're like, oh, really? Or I've been wanting to produce a show. Oh, really? I always thought you were this, but you want to produce a show? Or I want to direct it. I've been wanting to act for a long time, right? And it can be very easy, especially early on in our Artist Way process, to be a no but. No, I can't because X, Y, and Z. No. And we shut off the well. When we are a yes and person, that person says, I want to be a director. I want to be an actor, and this is how I can help you. One of my favorite actors I've ever worked with was a lead in a show that I directed, and sensational actor. And what he did is he came in, and as a lead, he was like, hey, you're going to hire me. I'm going to volunteer because this is something that I can bring to your production. I am going to do your social media networking. Another actor, same production, says, I'm playing this role in the show, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to help you design the lighting. Another actor in the show took care of our red carpets. I mean, it was just this flow of yes and it made the experience very, very beneficial. It made it magical because we were all working towards something important, right? I'll give you another example of yes and. So COVID hits, right? And all the theater is shut down. I was in California at the time. I was working at a big major theater in the country. And, what do? Right? If the entire country is shut down. All the theaters are shut down. Live events are shut down. And so I moved back to Texas, which I wasn't expecting to do. And I moved back to Texas because my mom was nearing retirement, and they were going to have to teach hybrid classes, which I'm sure many of you have definitely taken, and they're awful for a lot of you. And what we did is I helped my mom create the curriculum for that year, which we did devising. We did all this really fun stuff. But what I did when we were creating the curriculum is I said, Mom, we can't change how this is going to be. So what we can do is we can be resistant, and we can go, no, we're not going to use technology. No, we hate technology, blah, 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 blah. Or we can be like a river and go with the flow. And I said, and if we go with the flow, it's going to be your best year ever. So week by week, we went through and we use this yes and mentality with that school year. Mom was the positive force on her campus. Her theater program thrived. A lot of the other theater teachers were complaining that entire year. It was a hard year. We all know how hard COVID was. And my mom continued to do this yes and thing. And by the end of the year, the specific year I'm talking of, they were back in class and they were able to produce a full-length original show based on the curriculum that we did. And what's more startling than that is that most people thought it was one of her best shows that she had ever directed there. And that is what a yes and mentality. It's saying yes to the magic, and it's saying, I'm going to allow the miracles in my life, right? So as an actor, it's allowing the flow to take place. It's allowing yourself to be whatever you need to be. You take away the limits. For life, when you have a yes and mentality, for our Artist Way, we say, I have this great idea. Yes, it's good, and I'm going to add to it. I've got this great song, and I've got this idea for a music video. And I could limit myself there. I could just say, I'm only into music videos. I'm only into creating the songs. Oh, and I can do interviews over how I wrote the songs. And I could do teaching sessions over this, and that's going to help promote my music. And we have this abundant mentality over how we create. And as we have that abundant mentality, more abundance comes in and our creativity grows, our creativity flourishes, and we flow, right? I want to say this, that every time you say yes, the cop in the head, or our inner critic, or whatever you want to call it, self-consciousness, will try to tell you no, but. And every time you dip your toe into the well and you say yes and, you are allowing more flow into your life. You are allowing more creativity. Now, I will say, are there going to be failures? There absolutely are going to be failures. There are absolutely going to be shows, if you're a director, that you go, I wish I hadn't done it that way. But the more you allow yourself to find inspiration that may not make sense to people around you, right? The more you go, yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to trust my gut, and I'm going to do more with it. I'm going to take it further, and I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to make this the best it can ever be. And we can keep adding and adding and adding and adding. Yes, and will change your life. It will change your creativity. It will change everything. So actors, use it. Musicians, use it. Painters, use it. People on the internet, all over the place, use it to increase flow into your life. I hope that this is helping you along with all the other videos. You are amazing. I love you. Have a beautiful day.